All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to what has been a slight pain of getting this ready to go.
Yes, Raymond
Which,
could not hear me today.
nope. First, I can't hear Ben, and then I have to figure out how to record this because I've completely forgotten in the month since or whatever since we like month and a half since we've done this. And so for anyone who hasn't used Fraps before they for the Windows 10 they do not have where you can place it over your desktop. You have to have it over something like an actual game, video, whatever. And I had to like dick around figuring that out. Oh, I'll open a game. I'll do it in there. Oh wait, I can just do it in a video, and it's just what a pain in my ass. And Windows Game Bar doesn't record external sound from Windows, which makes no sense to me. And or maybe I'm just dumb and didn't read a setting, but you know what? I'm blaming that because it's not readily accessible through a main menu. And oh my
Fair enough.
god, what a
That is
pain
the
in my ass!
easier thing to do. Blame something else. Well, regardless of that, so I'm pretty sure the game or for today is actually the new Spider-Man. So we talked about this a
It
little bit in the
is.
pre-show, but if you'd like to go more into your thoughts, I mean, obviously they didn't know what the pre-show was. Any like two
Yep.
viewers or whatever.
All right, so of course, when Marvel Spider-Man came out the 7th, or like late on the 6th, at some places like I got it. It's a new Spider-Man game where you play as like a 23-year-old Peter Parker Spider-Man who's been Spider-Man since he was 15, and oh my God, is it fantastic! You know, the appeal of Spider-Man always has been that you can relate to him because he goes through people problems, and I've always understood that and kind of saw it. But for me, I think this is actually my definitive Spider-Man because I relate so much to him, and it's scary at times. I'm like, wow, I've said that exact thing regarding sending someone a text and trying to figure out, shut up, phone, not now, go away, toss that in the bed. And I, everything about this game works so well. The web swinging is like when people think of web swinging in Spider-Man, they think of Spider-Man 2, and it was fantastic for the time, but is aged poorly. The web swinging in this game is how you remember that web swinging, but way better.
Oh, is it actually like
And the story
positional
itself,
based? Mind the interruption. So, say you actually have to target
right,
something to angle your web.
you can do specific aiming for like web zips and
Oh,
stuff, and to go to a certain um, area on a building or a wall. But all the web swinging, which you can do freely, just hitting R2 and it will attach to a building, and it has to attach to something. You cannot swing from the sky, and it works so well. And the physics are fantastic. They make sense and they work perfectly. And the story itself, I'm not quite finished with this yet. 71% done, I think it is. And it was in the most recent E3. It was the Raft Prison Breakout. I just did that, and I'm about to go on from the game
so
from
does the
there.
Purple Hulk kill him at the end?
Oh, I'm curious. That'd be neat.
That's
That'd be a
that's
real
like a
twist.
side note. The fact that like Spider-Man Home, Far From Home is like a movie that's slated to come out. And
Yep.
you're like, oh, so Spider-Man's gonna be in that. You're like, oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
he's not
No.
dead. I mean, obviously, like for anyone aware with like Infinity War, why would they not bring majority of the characters back?
Yeah. It's so there was just some leaked images that found their way onto the internet and a video. So minor spoilers for people who don't want to hear this, I guess.
Yeah,
Extra
this is
warning.
like a
Happy
big spoiler
Hogan.
cast, regardless of anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Happy Hogan is in the movie. He's been seen on set. Samuel L. Jackson, Maria Hill, and Gwyneth Paltrow has also been seen in London where they're shooting currently. So they are all in the movie, and we know Sam Jackson and Maria Hill at the end of Infinity War in the post-credit scene did get the I don't know,
Yeah, Samuel Jackson
banished.
will be playing as his new role of Black Cat.
Black Cat and Happy Hogan will be
He
Silver
will be
Sable.
Man Spider. Is there
Man
actually
Spider.
like a Man Spider or the symbiotes like the equivalent of that in Spider-Man?
Well, Man Spider is an actual
Oh,
thing. It's when Spider-Man himself mutated into a
oh,
giant
that thing,
spider.
and it's the Punisher that goes and attacks or like tracks him down,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. He tries killing him, I believe, and he's like, "No, stop! That's Spider-Man." He's like, "What?
Does he
What the
impregnate
fuck have you
Mary
people been
Jane
doing?"
before that? The transformation?
I'm not sure. I
Eh,
forget. That's a good question.
radioactive spider semen. Good writing. Right.
Oh
Very
yeah.
people-related problem.
That's another thing. This game has fantastic writing in it for all the characters. Something I
Yes,
found
you can
out
take a
like a few
selfie
weeks
with your
ago.
uncle's grave. Oh
I
yeah.
didn't know
Oh,
there was
that's a
graveyards in the
real.
game.
For people that don't know,
Ooh.
you can take selfies in the area in the game, and Spidey will like flash a peace sign, and you can go to Ben Parker's grave, and you can take.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that was even in the
Oh yeah.
game. Oh, that's neat. That's it. So there's secret photo ops you can take of certain locations. Like the Statue of Liberty is one. There's a giant statue of Lockjaw the pit bull from Inhumans that you can find in Lower
Oh,
Manhattan. That's one. I bet you that Ben Parker one is a secret photo location. I have to go find
oh
that now.
boy,
I am intrigued.
Inhumans, the greatest of Marvel Cinematic Series.
I paid to go see that in theaters.
Wait, no, I meant like the
Yeah.
TV series.
Oh, the
Oh, that
actual
was
thing.
bad. That was like actually really bad. The movie, I don't
Yeah, yeah.
remember much about the movie. I kind of forget about it.
It so it wasn't quite a movie. They showed the first two
Oh,
episodes in IMAX theaters, and I drove 40 minutes to an IMAX theater to watch that.
oh, I'm sorry for you.
The first two episodes, they weren't great, but they had
I think
promise. But then the series just
as a
kind of took
whole,
a
as a
nosedive.
series, oh, what? Probably,
Yeah, not great.
I'd still. Would you put Iron Fist above that or not? Yeah,
Oh, ooh,
I
they were written by the same guy,
telling.
so
Yeah, I
I
do
think it
not
makes
have
it.
a very high opinion of most of the later Marvel Netflix series.
Yeah, that's generally what I hear. I haven't watched any of them. I have a Netflix, but I just
Yeah,
never did it. I only ever really watch Agents of Shield because that's
yeah,
good. I don't care what anyone says; it's fantastic. Uh, we're
yeah,
Spider Man,
Spider
yeah,
Man.
and Netflix. Yeah, so he'll be back in. Apparently, the Far From Home movie takes place like days or minutes after the next Infinity War
Oh,
movie or whatever it's called. So I don't know what's happening with that or how that's gonna work. So that's quite an interesting thing. So Ben, something for channel related. I'm gonna have to make one of those commemorative videos again
oh,
soon. We are sitting at 49
oh,
subscribers,
fantastic.
so I'm gonna have to make a 50th one. And hell if I know what I'm gonna do for that.
Find the old
It'll probably be
Minecraft
like a
footage. I have one of them saved.
I'm glad someone has it because I just kind of turned a blind eye to it. Oh man, maybe I'll hop back on that and do something real dumb. I don't know. We'll see. So okay, so that last night, I don't know if you caught it. I put up two really short videos on the channel from. So first I'll preface this. I've been playing the hell out of Spider-Man, and I
One was a
recorded.
bug.
I think I'm up
I
to.
remember.
One was a bug. One was a glitch. The other was a bug, which I guess
That means
they're both
they're
glitches, but
both sort of
whatever.
the same. Yeah.
Semantics. Yeah. But yeah, I've recorded 19 hours of it, and I nearly ran out of space on the laptop, and
Oh.
had to dig up the old laptop hard drive and format that and stick them
Hmm.
on there. So that series is definitely coming at some point. There's no commentary, so it'll be post
Okay.
commentary stuff. So that's definitely coming to the channel. But yeah, so one of them I actually put on the Insomniac Reddit, which was there's a part in the game where you play as Miles Morales for a bit, but first you save him from some street thugs, and it comes to a cutscene, and Miles's audio and subtitles don't come up, and all you hear is background noise while Spider-Man is standing there listening, and then he's responding to nothing.
Oh. Ooh. That's
It is the cringiest,
that
weirdest
is
thing
bad.
you can think of. and it got like almost. I think it's almost at like 100 views right now in under like 12 hours or something.
Oh,
Which
unprecedented
I'll take
growth.
yeah, going slightly viral. Thanks, Reddit. And then the other
Yeah,
one,
Reddit.
which was just this really dumb thing of you play as Mary Jane Watson for a few stealth sections of the game, which are done pretty well. I enjoy it, and her character is pretty cool. I'm just walking behind some boxes or whatever, and I catch these guards out of the corner of my eye on the side of the screen. They're walking into a oncoming truck, and they're just kind of stuck there walking, and then they get absolutely demolished and flung across like the road.
Or Raymond, they just
And I
want
was
to
like,
die.
oh, they just wanted to die really hard, and I stuck a very nice Wilhelm scream in there just for classic effect. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I've seen some other dumb stuff in the game where I've gotten Spider-Man to, on a flat surface, he's walking at like a 50-degree angle on a flat surface. It's very weird looking,
Oh.
and that was quite odd. So I had to dig through and find that, and I'll stick that up. But I haven't seen too many bugs so far. And I haven't really pushed it, but I haven't seen too many. Those are the biggest ones I've seen, so I'm sure there'll
No,
be
no.
a lot
Yeah,
more.
QA can't, even if they're really skilled, can't always get everything.
Oh yeah. And a game like this, open world where you have to consider so many factors to do so many dumb things to try to break it, I'm sure they missed it. But okay, Ben. Now we got some neat things to do. So speaking of slight viral video,
Yeah.
do you know how to get famous on YouTube these days?
Make a rap video of your characters with Roblox?
Yes.
Or the crab
That?
video? Have you seen the crabs?
I don't think I've seen the crab.
Oh,
video.
it's just like
What's
this little animation of these crabs dancing.
that? Mm,
Yeah, but,
interesting.
so you're going to obviously lead into something else.
Yes. So evidently we have to fight people
Oh!
and rig it. We have to fight people and we have to rig
Well,
the fight.
this is between two YouTube gobshites I don't really even remember. But I think like the only thing that I
Mhm.
do remember is that initially it was said it was going to be very scheduled, and that this is probably all pre-decided at like earlier
yeah.
date.
So they
So,
before they fought Logan
okay,
Paul
so
and
that's who
Killer
they
Fly,
are.
Yep. They already had agreed upon doing a second fight. So no matter the outcome of this one, there's going to be a rematch of sorts. And then get to the also, I want to note this. So you could have this was like a prepaid event or whatever it's called, and you could have done it for like $10 on YouTube. And it was like 400,000 people on YouTube watching the official
Wow.
stream. But there were numerous illegal streams on Twitch with well over, I think it's like 1.2 million people watching between them. For
Oh,
free.
these gallant warriors aren't getting their due.
Yeah. So I thought that was slightly funny. So the match ended in a draw, which is a thing in boxing.
Huh.
And at the end of it, Logan Paul goes to the announcer, "The narrative continues," when he says that the rematch
He
is
like
coming.
literally said that?
Which is, yes, that is either his exact words or like one or two off. He literally said that. Which is then just, wow, this is clearly
It's like
rigged.
that's like saying
So-
another fight is coming your way. Oh, that's
Mhm.
bad. I don't like that. Oh well.
So we now have to fight someone. Or I'm not gonna do that. That sounds
Yeah,
dumb.
no.
It's weird, right? We went from the age of YouTube where people were like 1v1ing people on like Call of Duty to actually now punching each other. Who's that game designer who boxes people who gives him bad reviews? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I remember though. Digital Homicide. People that made a lot of asset flips would go and sue people heavily, and like they tried to sue Jim Sterling for some egregious amount of money, like 13 million or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. Oh man. Yeah, that got
Yeah,
tossed
no.
out. I remember that. Thank God. So, going off of from dumb YouTube shit, I actually have a gaming related story I saw about a week ago. This one actually is quite unfortunate. I don't know if you heard about this. The headline I'm reading from the site. This was posted on Game Rant. So the headline is Teen addicted to online games decapitates self with chainsaw after losing.
Uh, uh,
Mm.
y- hmm?
So I'll go down the list. So this was a Russian 15-year-old who committed suicide after losing online video game by decapitating oneself with a chainsaw on September 4th. His mother reported it, and they didn't say in this article what game it was. I haven't
Well,
looked
if
into
it's
it again.
Russia, CS:GO is quite possibly one. I know that's fairly popular there. Other than that, I can't say I really know much about the demographic. Um, I just don't know much about what is currently played in Russia.
Yeah, this is so they're not sure if somebody in game told him to do it or if he was harassed or so this was another story that popped up and I saw this on Facebook. There have been these games recently, Ben, that incite you to hurt yourself and record it and send it in.
Uh,
And then each time you do it, you're told to do something a bit more extreme and keep going and keep going and keep going until the last one is you kill yourself.
that
And people have actually killed
that
themselves.
sounds like a horror story, just like a bad horror.
Yeah. It's very weird. It's called like the Molly game. I forget what it's actually called, but I think it started on the app WhatsApp and it was being run by an actual person. And then it divulged into a bunch of other things, but it's still basically the same concept. So they don't know if it was that kind of game or a game, say, like CSGO. But this is also from the 4th. So, oh, it's called Momo. The Momo game or Momo whatever. Momo Suicide Game.
How would you play that?
So, I have no idea. Kids are dumb, Ben. They eat Tide Pods and snort condoms, and now they play
Like,
games where they
like
actually kill themselves.
in seeing like ways to commit suicide, like that's just like such an actually brutal way to go. Like,
Yeah,
ah,
I don't understand it. I will never.
that's such a senseless loss of life.
Mm, yep,
Deep reflection.
people are dumb. What the fuck
That
are they doing? This is like there's the guy who I think it was in China where he played a game and for like 50 hours straight and then he just died from like exhaustion or whatever. But then this is just which is also stupid, don't get me wrong. But then this level is stupid at such a young age for no point. Video
Yeah,
games
they are.
fun. Man. So, we've had a couple of delays go on for gaming, Ben. I don't know if you heard. Battlefield 5 got delayed after it was reported that their pre-sales, or pre-order sales, if you will, were significantly down. I think it was like 80 or 90% compared to the previous
Well, what
game.
was the previous?
The previous Battlefield game was Battlefield 1, which was a World War I shooter. And Battlefield 5 is World War II.
Oh, we're just going back to World War II, right? Originality.
Yeah. So that got pushed back, I think, an entire month from October to November 20th,
Definitely
I
to
believe.
garner more pre-orders to justify the presumably egregious costs of it being a AAA game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also something else we can touch on real quick next. Well, it's not going to be quick, but because that's game costs and the idea of microtransactions have been back into the news.
Yes, they definitely have been.
Lately. So Battlefield 5 was delayed, and the Spyro Trilogy remastered remake has been delayed by a few months because it was supposed to come out the 20th, but it got delayed until November or something. So
Yes,
that
the
happened.
kangaroo
I was
has
like, oh.
tits now. Yeah, that
Yeah, they
was
have
an
made
odd
some weird
redesign.
choices.
So, what is her name? The
Sheila the
So, like,
kangaroo.
initially, like, Sheila the kangaroo in Spyro was just, like, actually just a kangaroo. Like, no clothing.
Yeah, she was just a kangaroo. No clothes, no nothing, no hair. They gave him hair and clothes. Really
Yeah,
strange.
and it looks very out of place. I think, like, the redesign of the deer girl, I think her name is Alora. I think that looked fine,
Yes.
but,
Interesting, because I did not like it personally.
well, there's something, like,
I don't know,
there's
something
something kind of
about
weird
it.
about, like, her eyes, that, like, they seem a bit, like, dark.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd have to, like, take a look at her image, but
It's maybe I'm just I played the old one way too much and I just go off that. But something about her design and Sheila, definitely Sheila, I don't
she'll,
like. But Laura's design, something about it, I don't like it. And Hunter's redesign, fine, but I hate his new voice actor. I don't like it. And they've made some other choices in the remaster that I don't really like that I've seen so far. Again, I'll have to play it when it comes out, but right now I'm because I know with Crash Bandicoot it was basically a 1-to-1 remake and everything looked. They didn't change character models that much
yeah,
at all.
the only
If at
thing
all.
they really did in Crash Bandicoot is that well, amongst like other like little quality of the life thing, the hitbox for
Yeah.
Crash is slightly
Yes.
rounded compared to the more angular like just like box that he used to have. So that means it's more likely to like fall off ledges.
Yeah, which I was totally fine with that. I've grown to understand that in modern gaming, so I won't really hold that against that. But yeah, I can understand why people were upset about that at the time. But ooh, man. So microtransactions, Ben. We touched on this with Battlefield 5. Did you by chance see what Take Two Interactive said? At
No.
all? So, I believe it was either in the Netherlands or Hungary. They banned loot boxes, and which good on them. And a bunch of other places are looking to possibly doing this. But Take Two said to all their fans, "Please fight this."
What?
I'm like, yeah, they told them to fight that to get it unbanned.
Wow,
And I
that's
am-
really predatory.
It really is. And for Take Two, who does, I believe it's the NBA games and a few other sports games, but particularly with like NBA, I think they just had a
You
game
have
come
like
out on
fucking
the 7th
sports
as well.
ball. Like, what do you have the microtransaction?
I will tell
okay.
you.
Tell me.
Hair, tattoos, facial hair, I believe, clothing like shoes and stuff,
For your sportsman
and
dress
other
up your
cosmetic
sportsman?
things.
Uh,
Yes, and it is horrifically predatory and just bad practice all the way around. And this is what's wrong with microtransactions. I believe it was Miyamoto who actually came out and said, "Stop being assholes about it." Basically, because you can do microtransactions correctly, then you also be dickheads about them. And it's when you're doing little shit like, oh, get a different shirt, get a different face tattoo and beard, all separate for however much, it's everything that's wrong with gaming. Which, I get it. I understand the point of microtransactions, because the cost of AAA games are egregiously high now.
yeah.
And to make a top quality game like Spider-Man, which is, you can see the money being thrown at this game, and it is, I don't know what the final price was for this game. I didn't see it, but I know for Horizon Zero Dawn, that game ended up in like about 50 million, and that's not counting marketing. So let's just say, I don't know, 80 million, right? For
But I
Horizon
mean, you could
Zero
also
Dawn.
make
50
like an
million
argument
game.
for things like this that they don't. You don't actually need to make the game like that. They don't actually need that much money to still be good.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, indie games are a great example of this, where those games are made with either no money or
Because I
very
feel
little
like you
money,
could argue that
and they
with
still
like
turn out great.
with just like throwing so much money at some games, they can just become unnecessarily bloated with like content
Sure.
or systems that didn't actually really need to be there, or additional effort in graphics, which while may necessarily look nice, if they aren't like put behind like a nice art style, it's effectively wasted effort.
Yeah. When it comes to like when we look at games like Horizon, God of War, and Spider-Man, these are all backed by Sony, and Sony can foot that bill pretty well for the most part. But when you have people like Take Two, a third-party company, and they're nickel and diming people, this is when we see these problems. And I don't understand the real. Oh, I have a great idea. Let's do this. And then you have on top of that the loot box system, which is equivalent to the idea of gambling.
Well, it is gambling. It is gambling.
Because it basically is gambling.
Even though I may consider it technically not, I would consider it gambling.
Oh, I would as well. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And of course, you have like the. Oh, does Overwatch?
Yes, Overwatch did it. Overwatch 1, not the first, definitely made it popularized, and it wasn't actually even really criticized in Overwatch.
Yeah, it's. I remember like my own experience with it. Was the first time when they stuck it into. So I play Call of Duty. When they stuck it in Black Ops 3, which was one of the most egregious things I have seen, and it really turned me off of the game. Actually, to be very honest, the way it worked in Black Ops 3 is, of course, you buy it, or you can earn in-game like Call of Duty credits through playing so long.
Yes, you earn Call of Duty fun bucks.
If you have 10, when you have like 10 fun bucks, you can get one like standard supply crate. But if you get 30, you get a rare supply crate where you get the chance of getting a rare item or a guaranteed one rare item.
But of course, like the effort required to get things in game take like quite a lot longer than like you should reasonably have to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing with Battlefront 2 for
yes.
God, what a mess that thing was. And you remember the E3 after its release, how EA like was trying to like prostrate themselves. It's like, oh no, there's gonna be no microtransaction than this game or this game or this.
Yeah. Oh man. What a shit show.
Speaking of EA, I think Anthem's going to be terrible, and I believe BioWare is going to go like really, really under for this. I don't consider Anthem to succeed. It's effectively EA's answer to Destiny. And I mean, I don't think Destiny is good either. But I don't feel it's going to succeed. Really don't.
I've seen like outside of like the
That's because there isn't. That's because there's like hardly anything.
I just know you have basically an Iron Man suit in that game, and that's it. And it looks pretty okay. That's all I can tell you about Anthem, and that it's like Destiny because they've gone out and said that. Other than that, I can't tell you anything. And I'm just like not interested. I don't like. I know they said that they have a bunch of the different Mass Effect people on it, including Andromeda. But it's like, I don't get it. You want to make a Mass Effect-esque game while being also Destiny, and I just don't know what really that is, personally, and it just does not sound appealing at all.
Personally, I believe anyone that was actually at BioWare that had like legit company a very long time ago.
Yeah, I agree. Just an unfortunate game that I don't understand, and I agree. I don't think it's going to do very well. And I feel like that what they're dumping into this game is going to put them under. So I do think you're correct. Man,
yeah.
Video games.
So, do we have a next topic of discussion?
Oh boy, see what we got. That's a weird text message. So, I was talking to a friend recently, and the idea of the shit. What was it? Oh, we were talking PCs. Did you see that Nvidia stuck out like a $2,000 or $3,000 graphic card?
Yeah,
Then
they do that, don't they?
what's the point of this? Can you
Well,
explain this to me?
the price or
I don't know anything about it because I don't get it.
well, the
Is
idea
it
is that there's a thing with like pricing video cards for PCs in that they're effectively exponential with like the amount of power increase you get. So say like for example, like you get a card that has maybe a 20% increase in power, that's expecting like several hundred more dollars in a
Mhm.
price. I do not understand the metrics as to why it's like that, but that is just how the pricing for things work.
Hmm. Very
It's
strange.
like
'Cause he
with
was talking about
phones, you
building.
know how like a next generation of phone will be honestly only market somewhat improved compared to the previous generation, but will cost a lot more. It's
Right.
like that.
Hmm. Whatever. Thanks, Nvidia. Whatever. So I don't know if you saw this at all, but on Twitter, the director of the Metal Gear Solid movie did a 31-day anniversary thing by showing off a bunch of different concept art each
Yeah.
day. And some of it was related to the movie, some of it was just concept art that people have made that he had done.
Hmm.
Nothing like real revealing, but it's just like, oh look, here's Metal Gear Rex out in the battlefield, and hey look, it's Snake versus Gray Fox. Really neat stuff. So, the thing that came out of this, all at the end, they had some voice actors get together, and Patrick Zimmer, who was Ocelot, David Hayter, they did some stuff
Oh, what
along with
about Keeper
Paul
Sutherland?
Lighting.
You know, that recognizable.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, he
Oh,
was in there. You just couldn't hear him
yeah,
because
you
he
can
didn't
talk.
talk.
No, you didn't hear it.
He couldn't talk. No, you didn't hear him at all. I'm sure he's credited somewhere in there, but you just didn't hear him. But he's there if you listen real hard. So, the big thing that came out about this was that there's a script and story screenplay done, and it has been turned into Sony, and we're currently waiting to see if they greenlight it.
Oh, Sony's handling this, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm quite interested. So, no word on uh, if it has gone through or anything yet, or it's been greenlit, but it has been turned in by the at least by the end of August. It was
So,
turned in.
Raymond, how will Konami somehow manage to fuck this over?
They will try to strong arm it and make it dumb, and just try to push everything. It's like I'm gonna call it the Amazing Spider-Man 2 happening, which actually no, yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, where somebody's like, "Hey, Sam Raimi, put Venom in your movie." He's like, "No, I don't want to." "Hey, put Venom in your movie." "I don't want to." "Do it, or we're pulling you off the project."
Well,
and
now
we're
we have
killing your
our own
funding."
Venom.
"Okay, fine, I'll put." Yes, yeah, we are getting our own Venom movie
That's
now.
just,
That's right.
I have no hope for that movie.
My fingers are crossed. It looks interesting. I like how Venom looks, but that movie might end up being a turd floating in the wind down the street. What a strange line that they chose from the. That's an actual line from the comics that is going to be
Really?
in the movie. Yep, it was from the '90s. He was saying it to Spider-Man.
Uh,
What a weird
yeah,
ass
that is a
line to
very
throw
weird
in.
line.
Oh my god. So yeah, so I think Konami is gonna be like, hey, you can do this, this, and this. If you do this, fuck you. We're pulling you. They're gonna be like, you need to have this guy. Oh, you can't have any reference to Kojima in there.
What if you
Or
make it a
David
Hideo
Hayter or
Kojima
whatever.
movie?
Oh, that'd be hilarious. That'd be great. If it just turns out, I think his name is Jordan Van Yoke, turns out to be Hideo Kojima secretly. What a
Well,
twist. So apparently this movie, they've talked about it a little bit. It deals with going like to different points in time. So I don't know what that means yet.
Snake
but
Eater?
it sounds like they might be going back and forth from like things like Snake Eater to MGS1, or maybe even have the story take place in MGS4 and have it go back and forth between MGS2, MGS1, and Snake Eater. I have no idea, but apparently the story is really bonkers, and Hideo Kojima himself is like, I approve of this, and I don't know what to expect.
Huh.
It's something about subverting expectations, which
Oh.
worries me but
Oh.
intrigues me at the same time.
Subverting expectations, huh? If we're like
Yeah,
that, we'll just get
interesting.
movies like The Last Jedi.
Oh
Uh,
man. Oh
yeah,
no.
let's not get into that. Apparently,
Yeah, that's
people are
unfortunate.
still
So that's
talking about that movie because of how, like,
yeah. Did you see how they were raising money to make a new one, a new Last Jedi to fix
what?
it? It was like a GoFundMe which raised over like $300 million or something.
I mean, that's a very interesting idea, but how on earth would Disney do something like that? I
I
can't
don't
see
know.
Disney doing something like that.
Oh, absolutely not. They're gonna like. I think they're gonna try and do it themselves, and it's gonna crash and burn, and they're gonna run away with
Yeah,
$300 million. So if you dump your money into that,
yeah.
you're an
I
idiot.
actually don't know. Like, who are the people that are actually making the GoFundMe?
Angry fanboys.
I mean,
That's not a joke.
that's their
That
name.
it's fucking. No, I don't know the actual name, but it's just like a group of people that got together, like, hey, we can fix this because we don't want an SJW Star Wars film.
I mean, I guess you could argue that, but I really feel like that's not anything the movie is trying to really convey. I feel like that's just like people like thinking what the movie is trying to convey, or people will.
I feel like we live in an age where if you do anything, they're gonna be like, "Hey, that's SJW." I could see people complaining that Spider-Man is
Yeah.
SJW because you play as Mary Jane Watson for not very long, but you just play as her. I could see someone trying to do that, and it's gonna be stupid. But anything you do where you try to be inclusive, like the Battlefield 5 trailer, when everyone was pissing their pants about women being in the
I
game.
actually don't know how big of an issue it really is. Like, I actually with stuff like this, I always wonder if the reaction, like, there's obviously always going to be reaction, like, oh no, women in my video game thing, but I always
Mm,
wonder if like the opposing side like actually takes like their like defense like so strong that it makes it like look like much bigger issue than it really is. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, no, I would ask the same thing. And not to go too far down this very
Yeah,
strange
no.
rabbit hole. Uh, just enjoy your video games for what they are. And if you don't like something about it, don't play it or ignore it. I don't know. Whatever works. Ugh. Where were we? Oh,
Yeah.
Metal Gear. Yes. Yeah, so I don't know what to expect of that movie. And if it gets greenlit, cool. It's going to be really strange. I'm curious to see what budget they give that movie. I am. Ooh, I
I
don't know what they're
don't know.
going to
Like,
do.
can you actually add in a pachinko version? Because like, if you can, then
Probably. Just use all the money from the pachinko mines that got found from people's wallets. Wait, what?
yeah.
Whatever. Oh man, you know that when that movie comes out, if it comes out, there's gonna be a pachinko version of it. It's
Yep.
gonna happen. I watched something this morning actually. Um, Somebody redid the intro of MGS1 in like I think it was like the Unreal 4 engine, and they used all the original audio and stuff for the most part. Really well done. I have to link that. Very well done. I, God, I'm remembering that the stupid Fox engine was used on those stupid pachinko machines for MGS3.
Yeah, it looks
And it
so
looks
good, doesn't it?
fantastic.
It looks so amazing. and you will never get an MGS route like that.
Nope. No. Man. That upsets me so much. What a waste of an IP.
Pachinko.
Just piss it away.
Oh, yeah, welcome to what, like, a
Pachinko.
Silent Hill fan, as me, has been feeling since, probably even Silent Hill 4.
Oh. Yeah, but was that down?
No, Silent Hill 4 was the room. Downpour was the last properly released one. Well, no, I think the last properly released one might have been that shitty Vita thing that's like a dungeon crawler. And then there was Silent Hill that, you know, I never went anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Like, I get it. You're stupid pachinko and mobile games made a shit ton of money. But does that mean you kill everything?
Yes. I mean, apparently the only thing that some people are, like, currently happy with are, like, the Netflix Castlevania series. Yeah, people
Really?
apparently like that.
Wow.
I mean, I can't say I have any opinion on it, but apparently that is good. But everything else, like, that they do, just... No?
Interesting. Speaking of Netflix and video games, Ben, fantastic
The Witcher.
segues. Did you see?
It's
The
played by
Witcher
Superman.
is going to be like a 10-episode thing. Superman himself will be playing Geralt.
Geralt.
His name is.
Yeah.
And
I
Geralt.
don't think he can do the voice.
Really interesting, because I remember when they first announced that it was happening, Henry Cavill on Twitter was like, "Hey, I want to play Geralt."
Yeah, of course you do.
And then fast forward 3 weeks later, announced Superman is going to be the protagonist of the Witcher series. Interesting.
Well, now, here is one thing about this. This is not done by the people that made the game. This is made by the actual author of the books, is overseeing it. And he does not like the games. Because...
Oh, yeah, this is Project CD Red. That's
well,
right.
yeah, those are the people that made the game. But,
yeah, that's right. I remember this.
the actual author, I'd actually have to look up his name. He does not like the games because he does not get royalties from them. His name is Andrzej Sapkowski. Oh boy, I can't pronounce good Polish today. Andrzej Sapkowski. Okay. That is him.
Oh man, great. So, is it gonna have anything to do with the game?
No,
Or is
it'd
it
probably
gonna
just be
completely separate?
some retellings of the books. And there is a good deal of them, and
see.
the way the Witcher books end is where the games begin, because it's kind of ambiguous.
Oh.
At the very end, the very last Witcher book, Geralt, quote, dies. Well, like, it's implied if, like, you don't actually take the games into account that, like, he dies, he gets stabbed by a peasant kid. Yeah.
Oh wow. Sure. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. I might give that a peek when that comes about. Alright. So, is there anything else you think we want to see done on, let's say, Netflix for video games?
I mean, I'd rather them not be on Netflix.
Fair enough. Any property that you'd like to see done?
Any property that I'd like to just see get, like, a television series of some sort?
Yeah.
I guess that could just be, like, whatever thing I really like.
Yeah, why not?
Now that I think about it, I actually don't know. I actually don't know if there's anything I'd really like, unless it was very auteur driven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would like some mishandled animated series. Nothing really
Fair
at the top of
enough.
my head of like any form of like television series I would really like right now.
So I'm not a fan of the series all that much, but something I think that might work well: Grand Theft Auto.
Uh, I guess. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I don't actually care about those games at all.
Same. I played five because everyone was like, "Oh,
Uh,
it's great," and I was like,
I mean,
"Really?"
it's like one of the biggest selling games in the world, if not.
Which I still don't understand,
I
but
guess they're really popular.
sure.
There's this idiot on YouTube called Downward Thrust.
Oh boy,
No,
is
it's
it
not
me?
you. It's
Oh no.
idiot called Downward Thrust who's like semi-popular, but he's been losing subs. He made a video somewhat recently about like, well, initially it was called Grand Theft Auto 5 Did It Fail? Which that's apparently like a
Wow.
name of a series that he does, but you can't really argue that at all. So you later
No.
renamed the video to Thoughts on Grand Theft Auto like nearly 5 years on, but the thumbnail is still like Did it fail? And I
Wow.
mean, I could go into this for a while of how he spends like the first half of his video explaining what Grand Theft Auto as a series is. Oh yeah, oh,
Oh my
I
god.
have like quite a fun time um, tearing apart video analysts that like video essayists that are just like actually really bad and
Mm-hmm.
like hypocritical. Because it's kind of funny how they'll say something maybe like just so immediately against their point, or have like footage that's like against their that they're thinking.
All right.
Oh,
Ooh.
peoples.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
don't
what
know what
that one
that
either.
was. That was interesting. What do I have in the background? Oh, that is me. That is my fault. Ignore that.
Well, that's all I have to really say on
Okay,
that.
what?
Just that a majority of video essayists on YouTube are actually not as intellectual as you may perceive them to be.
Oh, yes. I like that. I would agree so over that. Recently, you brought this up to me and I watched it. The like a video journalist talking about God of
Oh,
War
well, here's like the
for
actual
40 minutes.
thing. I actually like this person. So he's talking
Yeah.
about a video by Matthew Matosis named the God of War Case Study, in which he discusses all his misgivings about God of War 2018, ranging from how it actually isn't very exemplary in anything that it does, according to
Yeah, no, it was a very well put together video. Well, I disagreed with some of the narrative choices that was made for Kratos. I could understand I think particularly like the combat he went really into, which I could understand that, but being a very simpleton when it comes to that kind of stuff, I wasn't bothered with it, but I do understand it
coming
completely.
as, even though I don't necessarily consider those games great, as a fan of the previous iteration of the franchise, um, it was very hard to formulate my opinions about actually God of War 2018 when it first came out, and through the haze of everyone's hype and everyone really wanting to like the game. And I'm not going to say it's bad, because it really isn't, and how it's very easy as someone who's a critic to actually just say like this good thing is mediocre. Granted, I actually probably would say it's mediocre. Um, I just, no, I do consider it to actually have quite many flaws, ranging from the narrative. One of the biggest things that the video discussed was how Atreus' prose did not feel very natural. Um,
Right.
Atreus being the child of Kratos, and he's very naive and childish. Well, yeah, he's a child. That's very obvious to say. Um,
Yes.
Later had the revelation that he is in fact a god and becomes incredibly arrogant. However, there's the disconnect that say if you you didn't actually do your side content beforehand, and say you go back to do the side quest, he acts like just an impressionable child again. And
Yeah.
this arc is almost immediately resolved within a few hours.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I actually to go off of that the disconnect of him being a douchebag, then on the boat he's completely fine. I actually saw that in Spider-Man a little bit. So Mary Jane Watson gets kind of pissed at Peter, and she's like, "I'll talk to you tomorrow. I want to figure some things out." It's like a will they, won't they, get back together kind of thing. And then, but however, earlier in the story, she gives you some locations to go to these hideouts, and if you go in there, Peter immediately calls her up, like, "Oh, hey, I'm in the hideout." She's like, "Oh, cool. This place is where they smuggle guns." I'm like, "Oh, I thought you weren't talking to me."
Yeah, no,
Weird.
that's the thing with a lot of games that don't actually take into account dialogue changes, and most people overlook them. But I feel like this is something that should be pointed out, and people should, developers should attempt to find better ways to make content work like that.
Yeah, no, I would agree. One of my favorite examples of this that works really well is actually looping back to Spyro. In the third game, which released in like '99 or whatever, there is a point in the game where there are different points in the different areas where you can find Hunter and he will give you like a challenge. Like maybe it's a skateboarding challenge, I think, in the one level, or most of them are, I should say. But there's a certain story point where he gets kidnapped. But if you go back to those areas, there's now a sign there saying Hunter is missing. He's been captured by the sorceress. And you cannot do that little mini game. So stuff like that. Good job.
Yes, I appreciate when
really well,
games
that
are
makes
able to
sense.
take into account events in the story and then find narrative ways around them to explain them.
Yeah. It's little detail stuff that works really well, and it's like makes you smile. Now, going off of that, something a little bit different. So, Ben, as you and I both know, Resident Evil 2 is getting remade and coming out in February, I believe. Did you see there's a $900?
Oh, yes, I did. This is, it reminds me, I think there was actually one for Resident Evil 6 that held...
Yeah, you got Leon's jacket. It's a
so
pretty
this
sweaty
one
jacket,
instead
so it's
actually
fair
has
enough.
one of the old typewriters that would be used as save station.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're also used as save station in that game.
Yeah. It's a Bluetooth wireless keyboard for $900. I'm looking at it. Does it come with anything else?
No, and as someone who actually owns, it is not, restored, I would like to at some point, an actual, typewriter,
Oh. I have a typewriter downstairs as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
world.
Typewriter bros.
It's too much, and it's for, like, very big fans that would like to actually spend the money.
Yes. Yeah, God. I forget which racing game it was, but there was a pre-order where you could get a car as well.
Wasn't there a Call of Duty thing
And
that,
it
like, you
wa-
could get, like, a Jeep?
Yes, yeah, there was a special edition Jeep, which I forget which actual model it was, but there was a special edition Call of Duty Black Ops Jeep you could get. I think they did it for Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, and it was just, weird. I don't know if you could pre-order with it, but if you could, I wouldn't doubt it.
Every time I think about car games, I always think about, was it the 2012 E3 video from Video Gamer UK of when he talks about cars want to be inside them.
Yeah, that was the 2012
It was one-
Sony
one-
event that they
It
did.
was either that or like the Microsoft one. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, video game.
Man, there's some dumb stuff you could get out of those events, and it's just solid internet cringe gold. You gotta love it. So I think we talked about this guy last time a little bit when we were podcasting. Mr. Ninja came into the news a few weeks ago. Ben,
Oh
did you
yeah,
hear
he
about
doesn't
this at
want to
all
stream
by
with
chance?
women or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
okay, like
So he
incel
won't stream with
god.
women. Oh man. So yeah. So those who don't know, Ninja, big uh, Twitch streamer for Fortnite. He's the guy who streamed with Drake, or Drake
Yeah, I
streamed with
never
him,
even heard of
whatever.
this person before.
Whatever. I never did either.
Yeah,
Actually,
because
I
all
never
the
heard of
kids
Ninja. I
play
was
the
like,
Fortnite now, you know.
yeah, yeah. Jesus. So Ninja came out, and I forget if somebody pointed it out or somebody just asked why he never streamed with women. His explanation was, I do understand it to an extent, but I also go, that's, I don't know about that. So his reasoning was, if he was to, there would all these people be badgering like, "Oh, is that your girlfriend? Is that your girlfriend? Hey, you and her should do the nasty," all that kind of stuff. And to avoid that, he just decided, not gonna stream with any women.
I mean, firstly, I feel like it's like a non-issue that like someone like actually
Yes,
asked
it
them
absolutely is.
like why would you ask them like why do you not stream with women like have any
It's
like c- woman celebrity like done that have like requested to like stream with him or something? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I'd have to look further into that. But to my knowledge, not sure. I'm sure somebody probably along the line probably was like, "Hey, why don't you stream with so and so?" And they just happened to be like a woman. And he probably gave. I would hope he gave like a nondescript answer.
Like
But
it's
I don't
still
know. It's
weird of a response like the fact that like it's kind of like
yes,
all about like him and like oh well, are you two dating or something and necessarily expecting that's the sort of reaction that he'd get. Ah,
hmm like I'm sure. Yeah, I get the idea. Like you don't want to like just deal with these kind of questions that are just dumb a million times. But no, this is not how you go about it. And who cares? Really, at the end of the day, who really cares? You're hurting. I guess you could say he's probably just hurting himself in a way
yeah,
because
no,
he's
because
losing an
it's just like a weird
audience.
like response that like ideally like if it could have just like gone under the rug, like this wouldn't have been like a thing that would
Yeah,
ever really be asked.
yeah. Like I don't know if it's just the day and age we live in now. Like we were talking about the SJW stuff earlier. Like maybe like a few years ago, this would have been it just would have been a non-story, and nobody would have given a shit. But since we live in 2018, it's like, oh, you're terrible against women or whatever. I'm like, it's it's I don't know what to call it. It's dumb. In a way, it reminds me. I forget who else it was, but they would vlog and hang out with this female YouTuber who did makeup, and they would constantly be like, "Oh, you guys dating? Hey, you guys should date. I mean, look at the way she looks at you." Which apparently, if any woman looks at you for some extent of time or
They
in
want
any
fuck.
fashion, it obviously means they
Uh,
want to fuck.
Sharp.
So from that perspective, yeah, I kind of get it in a way, but it's the most dumbest thing, and I would never really condone it. Just it's no like, is it weird to me that if he does stream like another guy like Drake, how come people aren't asking if him and Drake are dating? Let me turn the table on you. Take that,
Yeah.
society.
No, I actually don't get it. It's just not really a good position to be in, especially considering the fact that you play Fortnite.
Yeah. Yes. Congratulations, you're streaming a bunch of
No,
10-year-olds
yeah, you
who.
are actively streaming for even if the game doesn't necessarily target young children. Is very popular, especially considering it is free to play.
Yeah. They also have loot boxes, I
Yeah,
think.
probably.
I forget what
They
it
have
is.
the thing called the V
Probably
Bucks.
do. The V Bucks, yeah. You can buy V Bucks, yeah. So microtransactions, there you go. They're everywhere. Even in your freemium games, I think it's called
Uh,
now. Which is great. Speaking of, Twitch, it has changed. I don't know if you saw this, but they changed their Twitch Prime
oh yeah, and
uh,
effectively,
stuff.
it's like it's like not worth it or whatever.
Yeah, it's totally not worth it at all. I mean, the Amazon Prime part of it's still probably worth it, but for Twitch, no. So as of any new subscribers after September 14th, I believe it was, you will not get ad-free viewing along with I think it has to do with like a certain tier of subscription too.
Yeah,
I forget what it is. And but if you were subscribed through your Amazon Prime account before the 14th, yours ends October 14th, effectively making you like the lowest tier subscription available to a
yeah.
certain
So
Twitch
basically, fuck
streamer.
you.
Yeah, no, it's a giant fuck you. And in their statement, they said if you want to experience this, have continue ad free experience and whatnot, and be like a good tier level subscription, whatever that means. Try Twitch Turbo, I
So
think it's
it's like
called,
another one.
for like
It's
ten
like
bucks.
more money.
Yeah, yeah, it's I think it's like double it. Like your Prime, arguably is free for Twitch. You're paying for it elsewhere, but it's a free subscription. But you're
You don't
paying
get
much
any
more
of
for
the
Turbo.
like actual benefits out of like the subscriptions.
It's so dumb, and it's they shot
Yes,
themselves in
I
the
remember.
foot.
I think it
I'm
was
sorry, but
during
it's
the response they're saying like, "Oh, we want to like help provide for like content creators or whatever." Like, no, you don't. It's like, no, you don't.
yes,
Why did you say that?
no,
They got the money anyways,
they need
because like Twitch paid for them like outside of the ads. Like, no.
yeah,
What's the point
like
of?
is
And I personally don't really find many of the games that are on Twitch Prime enticing. No offense to the games there, but I found a majority of them lacking.
sure, sure, I would agree. It's like I don't know if they have a secret whiteboard with numbers on it saying, "Oh, we lost this much money for our whatever they call their Twitch streamers. That's what they do.
They
You know,
lost revenue on like the ads that people could be watching.
it's uh just dumb. Like, good job shooting yourself in the foot, and now no one's gonna. I don't think because Turbo has been around for a while. I believe. I don't know if they beefed it up or they just made it to the point where it used to be shit, but now it's just really good compared to anything else
Still
we have.
$10. And do you even get? I don't know. It feels like a complete nullification of any of the benefits that Twitch Prime ever had in just an attempt to get more money.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. No. It's un- just a giant f you to your viewing audience who wants to support their favorite streamers or whatever. Now, did you know if you partner up with Twitch, you can't stream anywhere
Well,
else?
I know YouTube Gaming also had that thing that like if you were partnered or like an affiliate or whatever the hell they named it over there, there was a thing like you couldn't stream
Yeah.
on Twitch.
Yeah, I found it really like unfortunate, especially for people who want to grow their audience.
So
I
assuming if you want
suppose.
to go to like a smaller streaming site, if you just prefer the services that they provide, um, trying to remember any. I think Hugwax is one.
I think so. There's another one too. I forget the name of it. That was getting tossed around a lot. Facebook also has a streaming thing now for
Eh,
gaming, which is
it's not a real
weird.
website.
And I have actually seen people stream on there too, like actual YouTubers. I'm like,
Uh,
why are you doing this? This is kind of sad. I think they also have a similar deal because I don't see them streaming anywhere else. So, I don't get it. So, we mentioned Fortnite a bit earlier, but Fortnite has apparently kind of leveled out in its growth
Oh, really?
and how much it's earning. Yeah, it is no longer exponentially growing or getting exponential money, which I found quite interesting. So we've actually reached that point now
So it's reached
where
critical mass.
it was yes, it has reached critical mass, and I think this is the point where another game might come along and be like, "Hey, look at me! I'm gonna blow up."
Because we've had
next
like a really
too."
interesting trend recently. I think like I guess you could trace it back to Overwatch in terms of like competitive shooters, just like grew massively.
Yes.
Then you had PUBG, which like just broke world records, and then you had Fortnite,
Yeah.
which like surpassed it massively.
Oh, by miles. It was insanity. And then nothing passed Fortnite for quite
At least
a while.
currently.
For like a good, for like 2.5 years or something, it's just been Fortnite.
Has it actually been that much?
And now,
Oh god. Oh
about
wow.
that, yeah.
We're old.
It's yeah, it's been a while. So now somebody else might be poised to challenge Fortnite,
Oh, possibly.
and it's interesting time because you have a bunch of other battle royales coming out by the end of the year. So I don't know if one
Well,
of them
I mean,
might take it.
let's like talk about let's talk about Fortnite. The idea of that, like, so what do you consider its like strengths and the way it succeed? I think the first thing is that it's free to play, and that its art style is and its free to play that are able to cater much more to a younger audience. And
Yep.
compared to PUBG's, you have to pay in. PUBG also has loot boxes, and PUBG's ugly.
Yes, it is. PUBG also had a problem where they didn't update.
Well,
it
that and the
enough.
fact that it
While
also had
Fortnite
a big
gets
hacking
regular updates.
apparently.
It did, yeah. Just Fortnite is also like really supported compared to like a lot of other stuff, which it has to be with a free model. But they get new maps, new content. They have like different seasons, which has a bunch of different crap in it, different events, different skins, different whatever. Like you said, I think one of its biggest strengths is the art style, how appealing it is.
As
Because it's
opposed
very
to like
different compared to every other
as
shooter.
opposed to like PUBG's effectively just like Unity assets.
Yes, it's a very generic military shooter. PUBG is like
And I don't know how much
I'm not
the
gonna
building
con-
aspect of Fortnite like really like draws people to it,
Uh,
but that is something that
I
is something
hate
that
it.
really does set it apart. You do have to agree.
it does. It really does. Like I don't really like the building idea of it.
Well, that's from
but,
the
I
original.
mean,
That's
it
from like the
works.
actual like proper game, Fortnite Save the World, which is the one you actually have to buy.
Yes. Did you know Ashley Birch is in that?
Ashley Birch, that's what
I didn't
she's
know
doing now, isn't she?
that. Yeah, she's doing. I don't know what else she's doing now. I'm interested. I'm sure if they're doing Horizon Zero Dawn too.
What is her brother
they are.
doing?
She's on that. He writes for I think Riot.
Oh,
Games
yeah,
right
Riot.
now?
They had some interesting happen recently, didn't they? Didn't like one of their employees? No, they recently had I think with a conference actually, and how they were saying they
Oh,
wanted
boy.
to increase the amount of marginalized groups in their audience, like their like say or whatever. So like they specifically excluded like popular male streamers or whoever. Yeah, I'd
Really?
have to look up into that, so don't take my words entirely for granted, but I do remember there was a conference, and there was some controversy over it, and it had to do with something like with their demographics. That's really all I can properly say, so if I did say something wrong about that, that is my fault, because I didn't really pay attention, so.
That's fine.
Anthony
That's
Bershka's Wii U
interesting.
stolen. You remember that? Oh, Anthony Birch.
I mean, I will always love the Hey Ash
Oh!
Playing series.
Hey, that's what you're playing with
And
good. Hey,
whenever they
that's
do
what you're
that-
playing with.
It's fantastic. I still watch it.
I
Because
think
can
like one
watch
of the
all of
best
them.
ones was the Call of Duty one when Ash is pretending to be Bobby Kotick, and like she keeps changing the pronunciation of her name.
Oh.
It's pronounced Kotick.
What do you got? A baby. Look at it again. It's a bomb. What? Oh my god, that was a great one. It's weird because I remember watching that before summer, and I've always wanted to try and do something live action again,
Yeah,
Ben. And I would like to do something in the
of a skit
vein
like that.
of
Yeah,
Hey Ash, What You Playing, of a skit like that. But unfortunately, Chad and his brother are ass ugly and just would be
eh.
terrible actors. Deal
Yeah.
with it,
Well,
Chad. I said
Chad is
it. You
dealing
don't
with all
watch
those
this.
bite wounds from his vampiric girlfriend.
Oh my god. Oh my god, my stomach. Oh, thank you for that. Oh my god, yeah. I have to ask if they're
Yeah.
still seeing her.
So yes, if anyone's wondering, our good friend Chad has recently hooked up with a vampire or possibly a ghoul. Might need to ask specifics.
Ghoul of Vampire. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, New Mexico's full of them, I heard.
Oh, the
That's what you get.
chupacabra.
It's a chupacabra. Yes, she's a chupacabra. Is that Texas or New Mexico? It's one of those southeast western
I
states.
imagine they have a range.
Weird ass place. Yeah, probably do. Yeah,
Poor
poor
Chad.
Chad. Actually,
Nah,
no,
poor
not
Chad.
Poor Chad.
Alpha.
Oh well. Oh man. Where were we? Hey Ash. Yeah, no, I would like to do something. I wrote a few things.
That'd be
And I was like,
interesting. We could probably
this
see
is
if we
an
can
idea.
like if I have some free time, if you ever want to do something like that, I'd be open to it. I'd probably.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I just want to make it.
Yeah,
different
no,
enough
you.
with an own flair. To
Yeah,
it.
no, there's definitely like say like for example like I consider one of my bigger inspiration Yahtzee Croshaw from Zero Punctuation, which it's kind of funny. You ever hear of the website The Escapist? That
Yes.
is literally
Yes,
all
yes,
that
yes.
website has now is Zero Punctuation. It hardly has. There are a few other columnists, but everyone else has just left the site. Yahtzee is their golden cow.
Okay.
Movie Bob is insane. He talks about like how like the Nazi
Oh,
gave
yeah.
like eugenics a bad name. Yeah. Oh man, he's something special.
Oh, jeez. That's great. Yeah, no, so maybe expect that in the future. It's quite an interesting idea. And I've had you ever see those commercials for
Oh.
Sonic? Where it's those two guys.
Oh,
in
I
the
thought you were
car.
talking about like Sonic the Hedgehog. It would be like actual kids, and they overlay like an animated Sonic.
Oh,
There are
jeez.
these like French McDonald's commercials for Sonic toys, and they're like really uncanny. I have to find, yeah,
Really?
and like they have like these
Oh,
like
I have to look
3D
those up.
CGI like Shadow the Hedgehog things around with like these real kids, and it's like actually really creepy.
Oh boy, oh boy. Can you do anything with Sonic that just isn't dumb or
Sonic
kid?
Mania apparently, I mean, is fairly decent.
I do remember that. Actually, I remember hearing that. Yeah, fair enough. I'm super curious how that movie is gonna turn out, which
Sonic.
is part live action, part CGI.
Well, if you're interested,
Well-
if since I've opened your eyes to Matthew Matosis, he has made a video on Sonic Dreams Collection.
Oh,
Yes,
oh
he
my
has,
God.
and it's a very interesting take on it. So,
Sweet Jesus. I will put that on the things to watch for later.
I think it's about
Oh, man.
an hour.
That sounds-
I'd have.
Perfect. Oh, that sounds great. Oh yeah, so yeah, no, some live action stuff. Anyone on the OG side of it. So I think you've seen these, Ben. I did a series of like 8 or 9 vlogs.
Yes.
Actually, I did more, but they were gone. They're gone. They're scrubbed from the internet. Way back in the old year of 2010,
Oh,
they're from.
getting on a decade.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm an old man. That's back in the days when I had
Yeah,
long hair. Well, longer hair, I should say.
not all prim
Oh,
and
sweet
proper,
Jesus.
Mr. Bond. Now,
Yep. Yeah. I always look at that just like, wow, I'm old, I've changed. Like I used to I hate t-shirts now. I don't like them. I just can't and now I'm just like dress shirts all the time with a
oh, I
tie.
used to like wear like more
Weird.
like formal pants. I just get to wear sweatpants now all the time, and like I don't fucking care. I just like being comfortable, and it's nice to be able to finally be able to do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree. It's God, I always hate myself from 10 years ago. I would beat the crap out of myself like, oh. Except I would be like how like myself now and just go back in time
See
and
if
beat the
I could get
crap out of
myself
myself like
addicted to like Final Fantasy 14 earlier, so I could like get like more stuff out of it.
the
Because that was that
perfect.
back then was
This is
actually when Final Fantasy 1.0 was out before like the game failed
mm.
because it was bad.
Huh.
And like, oh, I could get
Mm.
a discounted sub. That would be nice.
Mm. Yeah. There you go. Man, what I would do with a time machine. I was thinking about this recently because Chad, coincidentally enough, he was like, he had something to do. He's like, hey, what's something dumb in a movie that doesn't make sense and doesn't work? And I told him that the DeLorean can't actually reach 88 miles per hour in the space it was given in the movie. So since then, I was like, what would I do with a time machine? I'm like, not only would I go beat myself up for fun, because, hey, you're an asshole. Figure it out. You look like an asshole. Cut your hair, you idiot. Uh, it's like, what would I fix in gaming? I was thinking about this. And I thought about it. I would go back and I would change the year 2007 for gaming. I would do this because 2007 and like 2000 is like kind of the years regarded as, hey, these are the biggest years in gaming. Actually, you know what? Screw that. I'm going back to 2006 to E3 to stop Sony from making a giant mess
Oh, of
at
the
the E3 conference
PlayStation
with the PlayStation
3
3.
launch. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fix that mess. I, you know, I kind of want to keep it in a way because it's kind of
Well, it's
fun
kind
to
of
watch
interesting. It
now.
like the way the consoles work, they work in almost like a cyclical nature of the big two of Nintendo, not Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft, of how one like pisses off their user base and the other accrues goodwill, and then
Mm.
they'll eventually become like very arrogant, and the cycle repeats. So you could say, starting with the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox didn't really catch on nearly as much as the PlayStation 2. I'm not to like insult the the Xbox.
Mm.
However, then the PlayStation 3 launched, and it launched
Oh,
very
yeah.
horribly. I believe, what was the base price of the PS3? Was it like $600?
Yeah, it was like 599, so 600. Yeah.
Yeah. And it had a broken online system. The 360 just appealed like a lot more. The PS3 was harder to code for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then Don Matrix existed, and the Xbox One floundered.
Yeah, but did they kind of? Yeah. Then Xbox shot themselves in the foot with the what always on thing and
Yeah,
the Kinect.
and now Sony's current
Oh.
issues have to be well, I think like actually going back to Fortnite, their issue was crossplay. They hate Sony hates
Yes.
crossplay. That's the reason why like a good deal of
Yep.
games like haven't been released. So say if something is a Sony game and a PC game or something, like you can't release it on something else because or have like separate servers or whatever, because Sony is just like really controlling with stuff like that.
Yes. I think one of the things that came out and why they do it, it was something along the lines of that that it's because Sony is quote the best place
And,
to play,
and that
and they don't want you to play everywhere
that's
else.
like insulting too, and that is entirely just so they
Yes.
can control the market. Microsoft used to be like that. Microsoft, I think it was like with Rocket League or something. There was like big conniptions about how there has to be a way for you to be able to only play with Xbox players because we can't moderate the other ones or whatever. Not like you really moderate them anyways, but Microsoft eventually got over that.
Hmm. I believe there's also a few points where the Rocket League developers just turned on crossplay for like a
Yeah,
weekend, and then you actually had like crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation.
yeah,
And
it
it
was
was like,
fine, and now
it's
Microsoft
that
and
easy.
Nintendo are actually like decently fine with stuff like that, with crossplay, but Sony is the only one that's still hesitant because they see it as like oh, if they don't have to play on a PlayStation, why would they not? Why would they not buy one?
Yeah, yeah, no, there's like very few games that actually do it on PlayStation. I think War Thunder is one of the few who does it with PC, and it's just that it's
I mean,
so
it's the
dumb.
reason why
Like
games
just
like Final Fantasy 14 have not come out on other consoles. Not because they can't run them, but because all the servers for Final Fantasy 14, like PC and PS4 players, they play on the same server.
hmm,
Microsoft,
interesting.
if they wanted to bring it over to the Xbox One, couldn't happen because Sony would get aggressive, and they don't consider the PC a competition since they consider it a different market.
Okay, fair enough, I guess. That's an
Yeah,
odd
but
way
no,
of
that's
looking
how it
at it.
is. Um,
Huh. Man, I. How long do you think they actually get with it? Do you think they ever will, and
uh,
let it happen?
if they are like, if Sony is consistently pressured on it, possibly.
Do you think they will wait until PlayStation 5 and make it like, hey, look, this can do this, and make it look really good when it's just really dumb?
I feel like PS5 is not actually going to do as well, considering the just like cyclical nature of the way these consoles work.
Right.
I'd still
Hmm.
probably stick actually with a PS5, however. Personally, that's just one of my interests in specific types of games. One of the current issues with the Xbox One that I have is its quite lack of exclusives, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
all the stuff now for Microsoft is like they'll say like, oh, it's like console exclusive, but I could just get it on PC or something. Also, the Windows 10 store
Yeah.
is actually fucking terrible. Do not use it. Oh yeah, it's
Is
awful.
it?
It is
Huh.
actually terrible.
Damn.
Also, it's just like with like my specific interests. Microsoft doesn't do well in Japan, therefore it doesn't actually get like Japanese games.
Yes.
And like, well,
Yeah. I mean, like
it's
it's
always
always been like that.
the
It hasn't
Xbox
been like
One
that.
did like really bad in Japan. Xbox One did awful.
I believe that the Switch outsold
Oh,
it
of
by like a
course it
mile, if I'm
did.
not
Of
mistaken.
course it did. Microsoft doesn't really focus on trying to appeal to a Japanese market. They tried really hard with the original
Yep.
Xbox because they actually brought people on from Sega, like from the Dreamcast division, to work on it,
Mm.
and but it failed because it's just too big. It doesn't really have that many Japanese games. And whenever I see like an E3 or something when Microsoft has like a Japanese game, I kind of feel like you don't belong here. It's like get on, come on, no, go home.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It's really weird to see it. Jeez.
And I don't mean that
Do you
in a way
think?
that like oh
Oh
like they
yeah.
shouldn't have Japanese games or something, but it's just like the way the console and the company just is that like it feels so strange when they attempt to have something there that's not very like sports.
I hate that they focus.
I
so
hate
much
sports
on
games. I hate the fact that they're so profitable and that like so many people like actually do play them.
Yeah. Oh my god, I totally forgot about this when we were talking about microtransactions. So the latest Gran Turismo, which was Gran Turismo Sport, GT Sport for short, when it launched, they said that there would be no microtransactions whatsoever. All the content would be free, which the content they've released has been free. However, the way you unlock cars in that game is, let's just say you drove for
Do you
like
fuck the
30
car?
miles. Probably off screen. I wouldn't doubt it. Uh, After driving like 30 miles, you'll be like rewarded with a gift car, which the game will just give you, and it like does like oh, here are 5 cars. They spin in a circle real slow, and then you get like a random car. However, you can go in and look at the cars, and you can buy them with the in-game like GT bucks you earn
Uh-huh.
from the races. They recently just made it so that you can purchase individual cars for like $2 each.
Oh, okay. So it's RNG gatekeeping, and if you want to surpass the RNG of like getting a specific car, so say like it's like the 5 random cars, right? Can you get duplicates of the same car?
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
so yeah, no, it's RNG gatekeeping. And it's either so it's like that game as a service sort of idea. It's like, oh, keep them playing longer. So either you play the game a lot, when like eventually you're the idea is that like you get worn down enough, or like you feel like, oh, I've sunk enough time into it, it's worth me spending the money on getting the car.
Yeah. And the game itself is almost a year old, I think. I think it came out last October. And it's very interesting. I don't know if they ever really publicly were like, oh, we're doing this, because I didn't remember hearing anything about it. Because it was never in the game prior to maybe a few months ago. And I was like, oh, this is. You said
Yeah,
you weren't
no,
going to
but
do this.
yeah, no, they
You
like.
lied to me. Oh, man. That was annoying. And I think it's like if a car's like 300,000 GT points or whatever they're called in game, it's like $1.99 versus I think the highest it can go is 350 for a car, which is like $1 million
But
plus
it's
car.
still a
So
car.
it's not. Yeah, it's a car, and it's just it's extra dumb. And
No, I really despise
man,
RNG as a gatekeeping thing for games, and like take it from someone who plays an MMO like regularly. It's bad. I hate the fact that people do it, and people don't seem to realize that the RNG is an attempt to either like wear you down and like make you more susceptible to buying stuff, or to make you play longer.
yeah, no, it's the public, which is mostly dumb for the most part when it comes to this, and they're gonna play right into it, and no one's gonna stop.
Oh,
It's
and
ooh.
speaking of, actually no, not really in speaking of, but I kind of wanted to make a segue of like, you know what's cool? Piracy.
Sure.
Um, EMU Paradise.
Okay.
Is that actually on the docket of how it got taken down?
Oh,
So,
we can, yeah. So,
EMU Paradise was, well, it technically still exists as a website, but you can't really use it as an extended service. Was a game cataloging service that catalog.
oh, is this the
Yes.
ROM stuff?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
the mission statement for EMU Paradise was to catalog games and translate them and remove bugs and stuff for games that just simply aren't accessible anymore. So, for example, say I don't know, if you wanted to play, I guess, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on GameCube. This game is one of many that Nintendo does not provide on any current system. There is no way to legally really. Well, no, there's technically a way to legally buy it. I'll get into that. So there's nothing like no digital port, no nothing, no remake, and it's kind of a game that's sort of just ignored by Nintendo.
Right.
Say if you want to buy a physical copy, assuming you have a GameCube. Path of Radiance. Let me check the most recent Amazon list. Because firstly, there isn't
Oh.
actually that many. And
Mm-hmm.
just give me 1 second to get an accurate price. Because Raymond, guess. How much do you want to guess?
I'm gonna guess. I know it's gonna be. I'm gonna lowball. I'm gonna say 75.
So let me go on to $330, and that's for new.
Oh,
So,
man, I
so if you
lowballed.
want a used copy on Amazon, $215. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
And under law, yes, this is legal. But these are games that you cannot easily access at all. And Nintendo or any
Yeah.
company just does not provide you a proper avenue of playing these games. I do not consider it something to condemn.
I would agree. We condone this
Yes.
kind of piracy.
Yeah,
Seal of
no,
approval.
I.
And
And
they-
so,
And Nintendo went ahead.
so
and
well,
had
no.
to
Here's
shut
the
down,
thing
right?
about EMU Paradise. Bringing it back to them. So their mission statement was cataloging these
Okay.
games so people could still play them. Out of fear of Nintendo cease and desist DMCA's, because Nintendo was very big on that.
Mhm.
After I think like 10 years of the website existence or something, the
Yeah, something like
admin
that.
said no, I just have to take it down. Out of he didn't want to take a
Huh.
legal case because technically yes, he is doing something very illegal, and he would get sued a lot and a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Ugh. And it's not like Nintendo.
Yes.
isn't
Oh no,
known
Nintendo
for
was
this.
very big with
The fact that it
their digital rights protection and everything, and it's kind of funny thinking about it now with how Switch hacking has gotten so prevalent, and the firmware, the homebrewware for it doesn't actually trip any of the copyright stuff for Nintendo, so they legally cannot do anything against it.
So
Yeah,
weird.
but nah.
What an oversight.
And I'm not saying if you want to support a developer, you can't do that. No, you definitely can. And I would still advise that if they make games that you like. Yes, no, they do deserve your money for their hard work. But for games like that, like Path of Radiance, no, I think it's the money doesn't typically go to Nintendo or like for that work on Fire Emblem, and I consider it perfectly fine to just pirate the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one more problem actually with the
maybe-
fall of EMU Paradise. EMU Paradise
Yes.
is actually very trustworthy as a website. They're
Yeah.
with them out of the picture, there still are some that are credible. I don't really know any up the top of my head, but a lot of web of emulator sites can be pretty risky to use.
Yeah, I've only used, I think, one place ever when I got like PlayStation 1 emulated stuff, which was like CD-ROM.
So for any
something
of
like
you
that.
enterprising internet buccaneers out there, do be careful where you download. I think that's fairly obvious to say, but
Yeah. Like, really do your homework when it comes to that stuff, because people can stick some really nasty shit in there if they really want to be jerk asses about it. But yeah, you can find some good places on there still. But yeah, I don't know. It's like these old school stuff that they are like some of these games are not going to be playable ever again. Like especially when you start going back to like the late
Oh
80s,
yeah,
early 90s
yeah, like
stuff.
stuff like that. So what? There was the release of the Nintendo, the mini Nintendo, the NES. Or
Yes.
that doesn't have like a majority of the NES library on it. Like it has like good games on it, yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
say if there's something that's not on
I
it,
think it has like 30
well,
games
fuck.
on it. Yeah, fuck you, deal with it. Uh, I I have a weird sneaking suspicion because I believe I don't know if it's up now or will be by the end of the month. The Switch's online
All
component
that you have to
will
pay
be
for, yeah.
online, their service. Yes, and each month you get a free old school game, or you get to play it free for however long. I forget what it is. I know one of the first titles is going to be the first Mario game, and you can actually do co-op in it, which is
Oh,
brand
they
new.
actually went back,
Get to play
put
as
the work in. That's actually very interesting.
yeah, that is, and I have a weird suspicion that they might be trying to rope some older games in
Is that
with
going to
that.
be their attempt to like bring these games back in a way?
I think so, but it remains to be seen yet. That is my speculative guess as
Well,
of
there's stuff
right
like that,
now.
right? And then there's so have I ever talked about the HD re-release? Have I ever really talked about HD re-release on? So
I don't
I
think
don't have
so.
a general issue with the idea of HD re-releases if significant effort is put into them. Granted, there isn't that much effort to put into most HD remakes. They're mostly just upscaling,
Yeah.
some bug fixes, and ideally there is either quality of life or new content added. So stuff like what was it? The Metal Gear Solid HD remake was pretty good.
Oh yes, yes, it was.
Things I have issues with would be the Shadow of the Colossus HD remake because that uses the European control system.
Uh, which
The
one?
No, not the
The
new
new
one.
one or the
That's
PlayStation
something
3?
different. This is the one that had Ico and Shadow of the Colossus in it.
Oh, okay, so the
Yes,
PlayStation 3
which
one.
had the
Okay.
European control system, and you couldn't actually swap it out, so it was actually very odd.
Really?
Um, then there's
Huh.
something like Silent Hill HD Collection. Yes,
Oh
this
boy.
is a very interesting one because they didn't have a majority of the source code because whatever fucking reason, it was just gone. So
Hmm.
the version of Silent Hill 2 and 3 that is used in the HD collection is actually based off like some source code of like unfinished stuff. So like they have to
Hmm.
go back. They had to go back in. They were missing dialogue. There was in the beginning of Silent Hill 2 in the HD collection, they replaced one of the text with Comic Sans because they don't have the actual type font. Yeah. Um,
Huh.
Not to mention they
Wow.
remove the exemplary voice acting of those two games and put
Yes.
it with people that, while I don't consider them bad, like Troy Baker, just all like the big VAs. Like, no, they don't fit in Silent Hill 2, and I
Yeah.
consider them actual insults to that game. Well, to both games. And
Yeah.
Silent
No,
Hill
it's.
2
I,
I consider one of the most exemplary games of all time in terms of narrative, and as one of the greatest survival horror games of all time. And this is actually a
yep.
thing. When we were
I
talking about
agree.
the time travel, to go back to that for a little bit, I actually wasn't thinking about it at the time, like, oh, where would I go back to? I would go back to 2001 because Silent Hill 2 is a sleeper hit. It didn't actually go over very well at the time,
Yes.
and so we got Silent Hill 3, which I don't consider Silent Hill 3 bad at all. But I feel that they kind of missed what
Yeah, I would
made
agree.
Silent Hill 2 good. And the main writer for Silent Hill 2, well, not the main writer, but like one of the big leads on it was a man named Takayoshi Sato, who currently works at Nintendo. He only did the story for Silent Hill 2, but as well known, as considered by like a majority of people, Silent Hill 2 easily the best narratively written one. And
Yeah.
I feel that if they got more support for Silent Hill 2, they would have understood that, and Takayoshi Sato would have been able to write more works. But now he's like, I think like the last game he had to work on was like one of the new bad Paper Mario games. Like, oh, this man doesn't
Oh,
deserve that.
jeez. No, that's unfortunate. Oh, man. Thinking on it again. Time travel. I just lost it. Shit. I would go back. Could have started
Oh.
YouTube then.
Oh, so you
There
could
you go. Get a
make your
jump on
channel
it.
then, and then like now you would have like that good user base. Yeah. Because I mean now
Yeah.
now
I looked
becoming
at it.
popular on YouTube is incredibly cool, and the fact that there are a lot of kids that, hello there children, that are out there saying like, oh, I want to become a YouTuber and a streamer. It's like that's not reasonable. Like if you're very
What
lucky,
a day and
yeah,
age we live
but
in.
and like I understand how like enviable of like an idea of like as that being your job being, and like if you definitely enjoy it, it's like it would be fantastic to have as a job. You're not.
Yeah. The chances of you actually
And like
doing
making enough money to live off of. No, no.
Yeah, no. One of the channels I've been sub to for a bit now when they created it was Game Attack. And it's run by the guy who made Screw Attack
Oh.
for Rooster Teeth. And they recently, I shouldn't say recently, but like a year or so ago now, they left Screw Attack to
Yeah.
go on their own. And it's him, his name's Craig, a guy named Bolin that was also working there, and like a few interns they had who stuck around with them for a bit. And I don't think they got paid for a bit as well, but they eventually did. I think they're hired on now. And they are completely funded off of the YouTube monetization, Patreon, and they recently moved to Twitch for
Yeah.
streaming.
I would not
To
really
help
consider
grow.
YouTube as
And
a
it's-
good platform to be streaming on, and
No.
I don't actually have anything against.
And they themselves
Yeah,
just
I have nothing
Yeah.
against the usage of Patreon. I typically am only reserved about the ideas of it because people will typically make like entire like all their videos to have like a segment of like, oh, they'll plug themselves like, oh, ring the bell, you sheep, and then like also donate to my Patreon or buy my merchandise, comment to improve my analytics. That's what people say when like they want. When everyone says like, oh, comment, it's like, no, they don't want you to like actually like discuss something. For the most part, anyways. They want you to improve their analytics because like the more comments you get, more traffic you get.
Yeah, YouTube. Oh, so strange. I looked at it recently. My guess what my video
What?
retention time is? Take a guess. You'll
Nothing.
be shocked.
Oh
21
wow.
seconds. Yeah, better than I would think. Lower than what I want it to be, but in the end, I kind of
Yeah, like that's the
And it's
biggest thing
like-
about like content creators. To anyone who actually is listening to this, you have to do it because you enjoy it. You can't actually do it and thinking like, oh, I'm going to make like a lot of money off this because even if you do manage to make some money off of it, you're gonna be disappointed with like with how slow it'll be, or you can get easily discouraged. And if it works out for you, I'm very happy
yeah.
for you. But you have to do it because
It's
you
good on
actually
you.
enjoy it.
Don't be like me and just tolerate it. You gotta love it. You gotta have a real passion for it. You have to keep going and be able to evolve with it, and somehow also evolve with
Yes.
YouTube at the same time. If you can figure that out, man.
Yeah, we sure
covered a
did.
lot today. So I think this is a good place of any because I don't got anything else listed down. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Unless you got anything?
Well, there was, I guess I could say one thing.
Sure.
So the Square Enix copyright bot Well, there's Twitter copyright bots
Oh.
that like post like names of copyrights and stuff. And so there's one for Square Enix. We basically have a good idea what the next expansion for Final Fantasy 14 is going to be, and like I talk about 14 quite a bit. It's a dumb name, it's Shadowbringers, but like, yeah. There's that. I guess. Is there anything else you wanted to like just discuss like a little bit more? You just wanted to go into with like what we covered today?
I recently came to realization. Somebody commented on a
Oh wow,
Deus
a
Ex
comment.
recently. One of the most recent ones. Yeah, I know. I was shocked too. Apparently, so something I didn't realize going into using Game Bar to record the audio desynced from the game, like the
Oh.
game audio. So I had to go back and try and fix it, and I kind of forgot to fix my audio with it, so I'm a few seconds ahead. So I apologize for that. I will try to fix that later. I don't know how that happens or why it happens, but it happened. I ran into some aliens in that game. Really weird
That's
stuff
very
there.
strange.
Yeah.
And speaking of Patreon, did you know
That's
that
another
like
thing.
Game Maker's Toolkit man Mark Brown gets like $9,000 off of Patreon? He makes like one video a month, and one of his videos is like Cuphead, like how the enemies attack you, and he literally just said like how the bullets come out.
Shut up.
Oh, we
No.
should watch it. And like there was it doesn't actually say anything. It's one of these like video essayist things that like actually don't tell you anything. And no, it's literally just talking about how the bullets come out of the man's. And it's not like actually like it's not actually a study of like behavior or anything. It's just like describing like boss.
Wow.
It's really bad. And this is a man
And you said
$9,000 a month on Patreon. Yeah,
What
and you
the
know,
hell?
there are apparently some developers that like consider him like an inspiration for their game. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh
I mean, he
my
definitely has the
God.
when like his background is in like graphic design. So I feel like the thing is like he's able to with like these videos, like they have like the good editing, and that's what makes people really just like look past these parts.
Wow.
Not to say that we are like
That
the paragons
is-
of intellect and objectiveness.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, no, we're not by far. Well, I'm just some asshole on the internet with a YouTube channel, and I record stuff.
And I don't.
And I mean, you're welcome to anytime, Ben. Join my channel
I mean, like, I
anytime.
tried, like, making a video once. I didn't like how it turned out, though, so I just removed it.
Fair enough. My God. So, something. Did you see it all? You know Brian Deckhart, Connor from
Yeah.
Detroit Become Human. So he's blown up on Twitch now, and they're now going through their third playthrough. I think they started it today. Their third playthrough of.
Oh, the
Become
best friends
Human.
only got 2.
Yeah, beat him out. They're doing a platinum run this time. And apparently, he's been hanging out with oh fuck, what's his name? YouTuber. Jax.
Oh, is he the man? Oh, he's one of the guys that have, like, their edgy, alternate personas.
What is it?
Is
I
it
think so. Yeah, what's his
anti-something
name?
guy? Or something?
Jax. Oh, apparently, if you just type in Jack, it's the first one. Jack.
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye?
Apparently he gets, like, mentioned in Doki Doki Literature Club or something. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Really? What is that game? I've seen
Doki
very
Doki
little of
Literature
it.
Club
I'm just like,
is,
this strange.
English-made visual novel that it's basically just a subversion of expectation. It plays as like a cute little like dating sim, but it very clearly devolves into like talks about depression and meta narrative,
Huh.
like stuff of how like the characters are like actually not like living in a simulation. Going into it more than that would just it'd be explaining the entire premise.
Huh. That's because I thought it was gonna be one of those games where it's like, better not play as people.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Interesting.
sadly, there is like one jump scare, and I feel like while I like it, it just like if it went like a little bit longer, it would outstay its welcome.
Oh, okay, I see. Interesting. Well then, I think that wraps up pretty well for this month.
Yes.
All right, Ben. So this has always been a pleasure.
Yes, it
to
has
have you
been. So
back on.
actually, let's actually have like one more thing. So where are you currently in Deus Ex?
Okay. I am in VersaLife in Hong Kong. I am down the labs. I'm looking for something for Tracer Tong, but to be very fair, I forgot what I was looking for while I was playing. And I found some aliens. I found a bunch of big, angry men in black. And I'm just kind of wandering down there. I'm supposed to steal something for him. And something to do with, I think it's like a hard drive almost. Or something like that.
Ah, very interesting.
I was thinking about this morning because I was looking for something on my channel to do with Deus Ex. And I realized I haven't seen his brother Paul in a very, very long time.
Did you actually save him?
I did. I have not seen him in a very long time. I'm like, where the hell have you been? I mean, technically for me, it's been months, but in game, it's also been a while.
That is strange. Is he actually supposed to show up at some point?
I think he said that he would show up in Hong Kong after a certain point. Like he would get there after he did a few things in New York or whatever. But I haven't seen him since. I'm like, oh, this is unfortunate. Because I know next after Hong Kong, I have to go to it has to do with Morgan Everett, which I forget what he does in this game, what he's up to, and I believe that's the scene where I get the "it's a bomb" line of dialogue, which I will be going for, and I am aware of. All the dumb fun stuff I will try to get. I have also resorted to using a guide, but only if I get horribly stuck, which I did in the last part. So I used a slight guide to just.
Well, I hope you did cut before it got like really unbearable to watch.
Oh yeah, I did. I had it on hand, and I was like, where? Because I didn't know how to get into VersaLife. I looked all around the building. I didn't know how to get in. I didn't have a code. I'm like, what is the fucking code? And it's like, oh, this is the code. Go up, talk to this guy at the desk, then go up to the 3rd floor. I'm like, I can do that. So,
yeah, cheating. Anything else on the channel that we should be looking forward to? You talked about Spider-Man, right?
So, of course, Spider-Man will be coming. And I'm not sure I'm going to do it yet. And I'm going to break that up. But I think it's going to be Deus Ex and Spider-Man each week, or it might alternate. I'm not sure yet. I'll figure it out. But let's see, anything else off the top of my head? I have a few one-off things, like small, like indie stuff I would like to do. And they're on my channel, not my channel, but on my laptop. I just have to record them and whatnot and actually get good at them because the one is actually quite hard.
Oh.
What else? Again, if that live action stuff comes to fruition, I will try to do that. But let me think. Top of my head, I think that's it for right now. Maybe some other stuff. But I do want to just blast through Deus.
That would be nice, to get that done. I imagine you definitely could. How far would you say... I mean, no, actually, not how far. How much more of the game, I think, is there? Because Hong Kong is definitely past the halfway point, right? Is it?
Ooh, that's a
I can't remember.
Question.
I actually cannot remember.
Let me pull up the guide and see what the guide will tell me.
Because, I mean, it is a big game. It's definitely a big game.
Walkthrough. Yes, it is. Okay. So, this is like the third or fourth area I've been to. Okay, so there's definitely another section of Hong Kong after this I have to do. Which, fine. Okay. Training. Okay, so I'm basically
Okay.
halfway. If I'm looking at this right. So I'm about halfway in Deus Ex, so imagine another 20
Yeah.
parts
You're gonna have to put the
or
time
more
in then
because I won't know what I'm
to
doing.
get some stuff out there.
So the next place I have to go back to Hell's Kitchen and then the Naval Shipping Yard, which is the... Oh, no. So the bomb place actually is
Okay.
slightly later on. It's like 2 places. That's fine. I'm halfway through. The next place I go is Hell's Kitchen, which, fine. I can bang that out, I'm sure, in no time. So,
I would say that's about
anything-
it. I don't really have anything else to say.
all right. So let's sign this one off with a podcast that still has no names. Do you want to decide upon a name right now? Because I still have no idea what to call this.
No. Yeah, I actually
All right,
can't think of an idea of a proper name for it.
Good night. This thing's never.
That's
having a name.
fine.
That's fine though. It's totally fine. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten this far, and thank you for watching everything else on the channel. As always, Ben, it's always been a pleasure to have you on.
Well, thank you. It is always fun to be on.
All right, everyone. Until next time, better not cry, better not pout until I get another goddamn video out. My name's MD. This has been Ben. And remember,
Yeah, Chad
Fuck
and
Chad.
your ghoul vampire girlfriend.